What is your purpose? The $1,000,000 question. Now, let me start by saying that your effort is a service to this world. I was sitting on a bus that was held together by grace outside of Astana, Kazakhstan, and I was on a 4-hour journey to the airport, and I was tired and a bit frustrated due to the communication drama that I had there, because I couldn't speak the native language and no one there spoke a single word of English. And I probably should have taken my translator with me, and I didn't, because I felt very adventurous that day. And without internet access, which I thought there would be, there was also no Google Translator available. And I remember that I was sitting there and I looked out the dust and fingerprint covered bus window. And the bus driver was standing outside the bus, just watching his watch and eating sunflower seeds and just spitting empty seed shells on the ground. And there was this street sweeper with the straw broom and close by, and he just kept sweeping up the empty sunflower shells as the bus driver just spat it on the ground. And I could see on the sweeper's face that he has had many hardships in life. And, he was very deep in thought, and he didn't even react to the guy who was spitting the nutshells every time where he just swept. And I was wondering, how did he manage to become a street sweeper at his old age? Right there and then, I realized that it doesn't matter what kind of job he does or what age he is. It doesn't matter what his life purpose is or even what my life purpose is. At that moment, I caught myself projecting unnecessary judgment onto this man whose life and his story was a complete misery to me. And I thought he might have had more potential than working as a street sweeper. But it suddenly dawned on me. Is street sweeping any less important than my job? Sweeping the streets might actually make him feel that he has a purpose while he figures out what his next step in life is going to be. I realized that each job is a service. It's a service to this world. Whether you sweep the street, wash someone's car's window, or run big companies, it just doesn't matter. At the end of the day, your effort is a service to someone. And I realized that our limited and rigid judgment results in us thinking that John or Deb is doing something that's beneath the next person's occupation. You give your time, you give your energy, and that is what's important in itself. And yes, sometimes these efforts goes unnoticed. Many of us have jobs where the word thank you is scarce. We live in a thankless world, and we don't always see the ripple effects of our efforts. Now, when there's a need, there is a purpose waiting to be fulfilled. I always thank my gardener for his hard work in my garden, and what he does with his time is not more important with what I do with mine. In my gardener's case, it is actually his passion to work in the garden. He takes great pride in doing what he does. And I even offered to pay for his college education to become an electrician or whatever it is that he wanted to do. But he refused the offer. He simply said that he's happy to do what he's doing. And who am I to argue with him? I stated a good case and explained to him why going to college would be better, but he still politely declined. He had a choice, and he chose to do what he does. Is it self-sabotage? Maybe, but if he did quit his job, then someone else will take his place. And that means that there is a need for someone who enjoys gardening. My garden would be a mess without him. Can you see where I'm getting at? I do acknowledge that people don't always have many options available to them. But what we tend to forget is that what we do is important to someone. There's always someone who sees and appreciates the value in what you do. Every day I meet people who complain about not having a purpose in life. Is there more to life than what you think there is? What if what you're doing is already enough? It is you who just cannot see this. Why do we need to have more meaning added to things that are actually just so simple and so straightforward? What would you add to your life? Your answer could be materialistic. If your void is emotional, then you can always change that. Remember that resolving your emotional blocks is well within your reach. People feel unfulfilled because they haven't found something that they feel passionate about. They are distracted by their lack of fulfillment to the point where they end up disregarding the importance of what they are already doing. If I had no one to help me with my seminars, my translations, with messages so that I can communicate to people and stretch across the globe, then my entire business structure will fall apart. These people who work with me are important to me and the people I am connecting with. What they provide for others and for me are services. There's no extra step or higher level to that. What you do and what I do are services to this world. What if everyone lived for themselves? Then the function and the order of things of this world will cease to exist. It will completely collapse. Within all this depression and complaints and lack of passion, there's actually order within the chaos. Let me explain. Look at an ant's nest. What do you see? Chaos, right? But if you look closer, what is truly really happening? You see that every single ant knows exactly where it's heading. Every single ant has a job. One ant's responsibility is not more important than the next ant's responsibility. There's roles and levels of responsibility might change over time, but the importance of their effort stays the same. If all the ants decided to just start living for themselves, then the structure and the survival and the function of that nest will completely collapse. Now, I'm not comparing humans to ants, but I am using an example where at first glance, you only see chaos. But upon closer inspection, there's order, there's structure, and there's purpose after all. What if your life purpose is to discover your true authentic self, find happiness, fall in love, get your heart broken, embrace the experience of friendship? Why does there have to be so much doing, searching, and frustration and effort in finding a purpose? You and your existence are your purpose. By finding yourself, you will discover your weaknesses, your strengths, your talents, your dreams, and your true desires. And be true to yourself. Dig deep and explore whether your goals and your dreams are even really yours. Are you trying to fulfill someone else's? Are you trying to please someone else? Or are you really genuinely living for yourself? Are you trying to prove someone wrong? By living a life that is filled with artificial and fake routines that don't even ring true to your soul, that's not part of your true authentic purpose. Perhaps there's a false aspect of yourself that feels that is where your purpose and value lies, or it makes you feel that it gives your life meaning. Do you measure the importance of your identity and your self-worth by trying to have a purpose that is applauded by society, so that it can make you feel that you have more meaning than the next person? And I'm going to leave you with this one last note. What if Dalai Lama was right when he said that the purpose of our lives is to be happy? Until next time.